Okay, today we're playing a game on Hanamura. We are playing about half the game as Zarya and about half the game as D.Va, and we don't actually have an SR for this game because it took place during placements. But the email did estimate it to be either silver or gold, so... Our current team composition is Reinhardt, Zarya, McCree, Bastion, Lucio, and Moira. I'm not immediately sure, off the top of my head, if this is pre- or post-Mercy nerf. Let me look at the day I got the email. Well, that's like right on the edge. I don't remember the exact day the nerf was. Alright, so we'll find out. I watched the video through earlier, but I have apparently immediately purged all information about it from my mind. So we'll find out together if it was pre or post nerf. We're just going to start the game. And we will judge if the team is good or bad later. So we're upset with Lucio right now because he seems to be AFK. Our Reinhardt, he's been taken away right before our very eyes. We didn't catch him with our bubble. No, we did not manage to catch him with our bubble. Granted, it was very sudden, but we were off shaking our head at Lucio and missed the crucial moment. Well, we didn't miss the crucial moment, but we weren't ready for it, so, you know, same basic thing. Bastion's being a very productive member of society right now, as we can see. Look at him over there in the corner. Oh, thank goodness Bastion's here to guard our home. There is somebody been on the point this entire time, but they don't seem to be very accomplishing very much, so it's not really the end of the world, because McCree's back there dealing with it, and we're over here holding the gate with basically just Reinhardt and Moira. Bastion's theoretically here, but he's very committed. He's very committed to this cheese that he's trying to perform right now. So we'll let him feel good. So now we see that McCree has just died to Tracer, which is of course sad, but not all that unexpected. We should be more interested in what's been happening on the point behind us this entire time, because as the off-tank, we are the one that's meant to go and help the backline with whatever problem they're having, because Reinhardt can sit there at the gate with Bastion. You know, Bastion... perhaps not being the most helpful member ever, but, you know, we leave Reinhardt up there with Bastion to guard the gate, and we come back to deal with whatever is over here. Even if we, like, decide that we don't need to actually come back here and help, we do need to actually, like, pay more attention to it than has been happening, like, looking back to see if it looks like they actually need our help or not. Because you don't necessarily need to come back if it looks like McCree's got a handle on it, but we don't really look that often. Just, you know, just give it the look at least. So I think Bastion is still alive. There he is. Look at that. Oh, good oh. The benefit of Bastion is that, like, once you come into the area, right, like, Bastion kills you real fucking fast. Bastion's so committed to his cheese, they just kind of, like, scooched past him. And then he had to actually move to even be able to see them at all, so he had to quickly move his zone somewhere else, which is what Bastion is really bad at, because he's a static defender. So, I feel like Bastion might have perhaps been playing his hero slightly suboptimally during this first point. I don't know, there's something a little bit weird about it. So we shouldn't be here. The checkpoint's gone. There's no way we defend it. We're just coming up here to die again. And give them more... We'll give them more ult charge because they get to kill us again, and we will be staggered compared to the rest of our team. Because now they are catching that checkpoint right as we died. So now, they're gonna get here. Moira even got baited in to die. They're going to be getting here as we're getting back, which is suboptimal to say the least. So there's no way in the world that zero charge Zarya and Lucio defend that checkpoint from 5 people. It's just not happening. Just give it up. Just go back. So we use our bubble like way early there. Moira's orb will not hit you if you are using Zarya's bubble, because it is smart enough to not just give her free charge, which is nice. It's like how Zac Visor is smart enough to not target the person who has the bubble on them. So, did we bubble, which one of those boys did we bubble right there? Because our bubble's on cooldown, so, oh no, we bubbled Lucio like way before. There is a common thing with Zarya players where, they tend to use their bubbles predictively, rather than reactively, which often ends up being an issue, because if you use it predictively, like, oh, this person's gonna take damage, what tends to happen is the person who was going to shoot at them just goes, oh wait, hold on, bubble, wait, okay, now I'll start shooting instead. Whereas, if you wait until the person has started taking damage and then bubble them, you will at least get some charge out of it, because, first off, it's harder to stop yourself firing once you've already started, as opposed to if you haven't started yet, it's easy to just stop. Or, stop yourself from starting. But if you've already started, it's harder to stop. But, even just more baseline, they're not going to react the frame the bubble appears on someone and stop shooting. So you're always going to get some charge out of that person if you wait until they start taking damage. And you can apply the same thing to you, but it's a little bit easier for Zarya because you can just bubble yourself, walk across somebody else's line of fire, and get charged like that. But, generally, if you wait until either you or the person have started taking damage, you will always get some charge. Whereas here we bubbled Lucio, like, way ahead, and he ended up not taking any damage, and then we ended up not having the, bubble right as Tracer threw her pulse bomb at somebody, which is unfortunate. Couldn't have saved them both, but we might have been able to save one of them. Then we died to Junkrat's tire, you know, sad, very sad. It is an ultimate that typically kills people, though, you know, so we're in a real bad time right now. This is the point where we should have already changed off Zarya, like, off that last death, really. I know we're gonna drop a lot of ult charge, but, like, off that last death, we should have changed to, like, D.Va or something and said something better at stalling it out. Now, miraculously enough, it ends up not mattering, because Bastion managed to actually kill a bunch of people right there. But, yeah, like, not the last death, the death before, I would have changed off of Zarya to D.Va, just to stall it out, because it doesn't look like it's going super well at that point. I know you're going to drop, like, 75% of a Graviton at that point, but that 75% of a Graviton doesn't help you if you lose the game, and zero charge Zarya is actually worthless. So, you'd better to just be somebody who is more immediately helpful in that situation. Didn't matter though, miraculously enough, Bastion actually killed people. So, normally we don't want to be down here, we'd rather be up on the platform, because if they go up there, we want to be up there to meet them when they try and take the high ground, but as we can see, they're trying to push through the front door anyway. So it doesn't really matter. And, we as Zarya can't do much to help on the high ground. If the fight's happening on the low ground, we end up having to jump down anyway, so it doesn't end up mattering that much. Really like Mouse 5. I was like, the way that looked, I thought it was like Numpad 5, and I was like, what kind of animal are you to bind it to Numpad 5? But it's probably like Mouse Button 5. I just saw 5, and I was like, what, why? Never mind. So, we do use Graviton during this fight, but I wouldn't exactly consider it to be the greatest used Graviton I've ever seen. We're doing a good job of, like, staying high charge. Granted, the enemy team are helping us out a lot on that one by kind of just shooting all our barriers, but we use Graviton just on Orisa. We've already won the fight by that point anyway. Like, the fight's already actually going well. We're at 100% charge. Some of them are already dead, so, like, we don't need to use it anyway by that point during the fight. But then we use it on just Orisa. And now we decide to change to D.Va, which is a very strange time to change. Did we see something on the enemy team that prompted that? Because the timing on the switch is, like, a little bit weird. No, did not catch that. I don't know. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We've got to look at the enemy team. I guess probably because of Junkrat?
Why you jump away?
But Zarya is okay again. But Zarya quite likes playing against Junkrat anyway, because that tends to be a lot of free charge, because you can just walk in front of his bombs and bubble the person the bombs are flying towards. So I'm just a little perplexed by the decision to change to D.Va right there, because if I would have thought the time to change to D.Va would have been like a while ago at this point. Maybe that's why we ulted Orisa, just to drop the ult so we could change to D.Va? That's still not a good decision if that was the decision. Anyway, oh yeah, it is Mouse 5. Okay, just, I was really upset, but that makes a lot more sense. So we're getting into this scuffle with Reinhardt over here, and ordinarily it's like not that big of a deal to end up scuffling with we get shot by volley. Alright, I was wondering what we took what did this huge spike of damage to us. It was Zenyatta all the way over there. Because I was like, usually D.Va doesn't have that much issue killing Reinhardt, because unless the Reinhardt pins D.Va, you kill Reinhardt first. There's like no way you don't. But no, we got hit by Zenyatta, so fair enough. So now we just want to try and get back in our ultimate. When you're in, like, this kind of position, don't, like, just, like, drill all your shots onto one spot like that. Kind of just, like, swing the cursor around a little bit. Just, like, vary up where the bullets are going. Because if you're only shooting at, if you're just trying to bore a hole through one spot in the wall, it makes it very easy to predict and dodge around. As we can see right there, someone decided to just walk in front of, like, 12 bullets, so fair enough. But if you vary it up a little bit more, it makes it harder to predict, and you'll end up, like, winging people more often on average. So Bastion's dead. This must be post-Mercy nerf, because we haven't seen a single Mercy in the game yet. Granted, if we're in, like, silver or gold, it could be that people are just bad enough they don't know. Now, everyone knows by this point. This must be post-Mercy nerf. We'll assume it is, because nobody's playing Mercy. So, fight's happening. We lost Bastion right at the start, but they lost 2 people right at the start, so they're basically fucked. Genji's wasting Dragon Blade right now, which is his prerogative. If he wants to do that, he's more than welcome to. I wouldn't recommend it, but it is up to him. So they have a Bastion now. He's dead now, because he was all by his lonesome. Moira's wasting her ultimate right now, so she saw that Genji wasted his Dragon Blade, and she wasn't one to just, like... She didn't want to just let him feel embarrassed about that, so she wasted her ultimate as well to make Genji feel better about it, I'm sure. So we've got self-destruct built up now, which is cool, I suppose. You know, it's not a fantastic ultimate or anything like that, but we do at least have it. Which, you know, more often than not, it's just another mech more than anything else. People do so love to chuck them out there, but that's basically just luck of the draw on if you actually kill people or not with D.Va's ultimate. Especially on a map like this, where there's, like, a lot of corners. So Bastion's up there on the corner, and we don't like that, so we come up here to deal with him, and we deal with him. Usually you expect to lose your mech when you do that, but we have self-destruct, so it's fine. But he just kind of stopped shooting us. If he just, like, shot us a little bit more, he would have at least taken our mech with him, but no, he decided that he was just going to keep shooting the point instead. Which, you know, I mean, his decision. We won't, we're not upset about it, because we get to keep our mech for a little bit longer before we use our ult. We're going to use our ult now. We didn't use our ult right there. Why did we not use our ult right there? That's the time to use your ult. You very badly want another mech right there. That's definitely the time to use your ult. Like, this fight's going badly, but, like, losing this fight is very bad, so you just want another mech so that you can stall out that fight for longer, because you don't want them to, like, make progress on capturing the point. This is why D.Va's really good at stalling, because if she has a fucking lot of hit points baseline, she has technically the most hit points, because she has 600 in the mech, and then 150 on herself, so she has 150 health. But it's kind of like 750 health, but like it's split up between 2 different entities. And then if you can have self-destruct, you get another mech. So she's like very good at stalling, and we just kind of decided not to use self-destruct right there. I don't know if we have bigger dreams for the self-destruct, but like, that's the time to use it. We end the round with the self-destruct, and we just use it to do that, so we definitely would have gotten more value out of it before. I'm just not sure the reasoning behind not using self-destruct right there, because it just seems so like the time. So, we are attacking now. We are playing D.Va for the rest of the game, by the way, if you're curious. You're probably not. You probably figured, but, you know, just in case. If YouTube would be so kind as to actually let us watch. So as you can see, there's roughly 4 minutes left on the video. So, what do you reckon? Do we not capture the first checkpoint, or do we trounce them? Because those are the only 2 options left at this point. Place your bets now. So, we've got a Doomfist. That's very sad. Also, like, honestly, I expect them to have a Bastion after that last round, and Doomfist isn't exactly very good against Bastion. Doomfist's not exactly very good in general, but I do feel extremely vindicated, because there was a post that Jeff Kaplan made, and they said that they're looking at Doomfist, and specifically something he mentioned was making his left click more consistent. They're gonna lower the damage on each pellet, increase his number of shots, and make the spread more consistent. And apparently they're doing something else, but they didn't reveal what that was yet, so I feel very vindicated in that one. They said a few heroes that they were working on, and one of them was Sombra, which was a little surprising to me, because I don't think that Sombra actually has any balance issues. I just think she's extremely difficult to play, and I guess they don't want her to be that difficult to play. She is very difficult to play, and a bad Sombra is basically, debatably worse than a sniper who is bad. A bad Sombra is very bad, so I guess they don't want her to be like that, and they're adjusting her somehow as well, which I found surprising. I guess they just don't want her to be, so exclusionarily difficult? That's not a word, is it? You get what I'm saying, though. They also said they're looking at Hanzo, Torbjorn, Mei. The ones you would expect them to be working on, basically. I'm curious to see what they're going to do to Hanzo, though. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're talking about this game right now. I'm getting distracted. It's known to happen. So we're doing some stuff right here. It looks very panicky, honestly. I'm guessing the intention is to just try and catch as many bullets as possible. It's just it looked very panicky at the same time. So, fortunately, they're really bad, right? And they just kind of, let us walk through the doorway. Granted, they had D.Va, Orisa, so their front line isn't exactly super sturdy, and then we just kind of, came through the gate, and they were like, oh, fuck. So, fighting Orisa is difficult as D.Va, because she's gonna out-DPS you, because your head is also really easy to hit as D.Va in mech, and we're starting this fight with Orisa already having a leg up on us, and it's not even a 1v1, so we end up losing our mech very quickly. If you're gonna go all in on the Orisa like that, you need to have, the health lead on her, and you need to kind of have the numbers advantage, because if you're just, drilling into her and she's drilling into you, she's gonna out-DPS you. So you need some kind of advantage to just, go toe-to-toe with her like that. Otherwise, just, play it a little bit more cool, basically. In general, when we're playing D.Va, we don't really want to try and kill the front line first, if possible. D.Va can fight the front line. This is something she has over Winston. She can fight tanks and has a chance to win. She's actually pretty good against tanks, because she has dual automatic infinite ammo shotguns. So, even though they're lower damage than, Reaper or Roadhog shotguns, right, they are still shotguns. So, she still is actually good at fighting tanks, but she is still also a dive tank, so ideally, we kill the back line first, then worry about the front line. And also, if we're trying to kill the front line while the back line is still alive, the front line's not going to die. We don't do enough damage to kill a frontline hero through a healer. Reaper or Roadhog can, but D.Va, definitely can't, unless they were already basically dead, or outside interference comes for you. So, you've got to just kinda play it more calm, or just go for the back line in that situation instead. By that point, the fight started not looking so good, because we had lost, Winston by that point, which is, less than ideal. Winston's going in largely by himself right now. Moira got staggered, really bad, so this isn't really where we want to be going in right now, but our team has decided they want to go in. So, they, do have a Pharah on their team. We haven't really looked at her very much, but there is a Pharah. We, as D.Va, should worry about Pharah, and we're the only one on our team who can realistically worry about Pharah right now, because, well, Moira also can, I suppose. We've got Reaper and Doomfist as our DPS right now, so really we're the biggest threat to Pharah, so we kind of have to worry about her. D.Va is good against Pharah in general, because you can do pretty guaranteed damage to her, because you just fly up in her face and, hit her with your body and shoot her with the shotguns while you're flying up there. And you're probably not going to kill her unless somebody else helps you as well. It does make her good at killing D.Va Pharah if there's some help on your team. Hey, cat. Stop that. It does make D.Va good against Pharah if there's someone on your team who can help you. If there's a soldier on your team and you just do, basically guaranteed damage to the Pharah, the soldier doesn't have to do that much damage to finish her off, but even if you don't kill her, you will still do enough damage to the Pharah that you're going to make her play more passively, because you've hit her with your face, right? So you've done at least like 50 to 100 damage to her. She'll start playing more passively at that point. And if you have somebody to help as well, then you might actually just straight up kill her. Moral of the story is we should be worrying about Pharah more than we are actually worrying about Pharah, because D.Va is actually good against Pharah. So this is a very poor use of self-destruct. It ends up killing the Pharah, so that's great and all. In general, I don't recommend, like, chucking the ultimate in just, like, willy-nilly. Or, like, trying to initiate with it is very difficult. Because self-destruct is so telegraphed and takes so long that it typically doesn't kill anybody, especially on a map that has a lot of corners like this map does, so it's very hard. And that's discounting also any shields that the enemy team might have as well. Yo, cat, calm down. If you're going to use it to initiate, just chucking it in is basically like rolling the dice on if it actually does anything. More often than not, it doesn't, because the enemy team has enough time to react. The best way to initiate with self-destruct is that you're trying to coordinate it with someone else. So, suppose, for example, very straightforward example, imagine you've got a Reinhardt on your team, and enemy team also have a Reinhardt. You're playing D.Va, you've got self-destruct. If you chuck self-destruct on the other side of their team, Reinhardt's going to turn around to try and block the self-destruct, and then your Reinhardt uses Earth Shatter and hits their team. Right? Very straightforward example. Imagine now instead your team's got Soldier on it. He's got Tac Visor. You chuck self-destruct on the other side of them, and then Soldier starts using Tac Visor. They have two very threatening things on either side of them, and they have to decide which they're going to pay attention to, basically. So, that's usually the best way to initiate with, D.Va's ult. Sometimes you can combo it with stuff, but, like, D.Va's ult doesn't combo very well because it takes so long for it to actually go off still. Just, like, straight up lobbing it in tends to do nothing. Sometimes it can disrupt them enough that or force them to play defensively enough, you can start gaining some ground on them, but that requires your team to actually, like, take advantage of you doing that, and it's usually going to take a little bit of coordination. If you just kind of chuck it in, your team is probably not going to react properly to that if you're just chucking it in to try and, like, gain some ground in most situations. Typically, honestly, it's a better defensive ultimate than it is an aggressive ultimate, because if the enemy team starts trying to initiate a push, you just go, nah, I'd rather not. And you push Q, and then suddenly, even if they were coming in with, like, sound barrier or something, now they can't just ignore self-destruct, so they kind of have to acknowledge that, and it really kills their momentum. So just, like, chucking it in like that tends to not do very much. In this kind of SR, probably does stuff more often, because this is, like, silver gold, so people are bad. Like, worse than usual. I mean, not to imply platinum, diamond are, like, good. No. They just get slightly less bad, right? Like, Overwatch isn't about which team is better, it's about which team is less bad. So, you know, right here, they're in a pretty big stage of badness, so you might just, like, kill people with it more frequently. You'll find that will be less and less the case. So, just chucking it in doesn't tend to do much. You just roll the dice on it in that situation, usually. Very poor use of Bongo. We react very slow to Barrage right there. We do react to it in the end, but after two people have already died to it. So, get better reaction time. Very helpful advice. That's why I'm here. You're welcome. That'll be $50. So, it doesn't matter. As we can see, we win the fight regardless. So, you can probably tell roughly how this game's gonna go. Unless a miracle hold suddenly occurred right there. Yeah, no. So they've also staggered themselves really badly off that one, like their Mercy just died right as we're capturing the point. Orissa's like all the way out here, so they're about to lose their tank. We kind of messed that one up, getting stuck up on geometry and stuff, so not the cleanest execution ever. Execute better, damn it, aim better. That'll be another $50. We've lost our mech right there, but it's alright, we have self-destruct. Junkrat was not allowed to use his ultimate like that. This is like one of the worst, like, this is a very bad situation for them, because they have no shield right now, and self-destruct's happening on the objective, which is just a giant open square. So, they are gonna end up moving off the point, and we only need to get the first 34% to actually win the round, so very bad for them. I like how he chooses not to break the bongo. He broke the bongo kind of accidentally. I guess they did get earth shattered. He was probably more concerned with killing them, to be fair. If you've ever been so pissed off that you shoulder tackle a fucking tank. Reinhardt was that pissed off. So, stands out the most in this game. Just like some very odd decisions more than anything else. Like the, decision to change to D.Va after the Graviton. The using of the Graviton was a very strange decision. In the fight. Then we chose to change to D.Va right afterwards, which I wasn't entirely sure the reasoning of. And then we chose to hold self-destruct during what might have been the last fight of the game. So, the thing that stands out the most is some very odd decisions more than anything else. A lot better than your average silver or gold player, though, honestly, based off this game. I expect the average silver Zarya to be walking around with 0% charge the entire time, basically, and we were actually quite high charge the majority of the time we were playing Zarya. Granted, that can be more the enemy team's fault than yours sometimes, but we had high charge a lot of the time, so that's good. We didn't really pay much attention to the Tracer on the point behind us either. That's the other thing. And, we know that in hindsight she ended up killing McCree, so it ended up mattering. Ideally you would be able to rely on McCree to deal with the Tracer himself, but you've got to just keep an eye on it anyway, because you as Zarya, you're the off-tank. If you're the off-tank in general, you have to keep an eye on that kind of situation, because if they need help, you're the one that's meant to go back there and help them with it, so you've got to keep an eye on the situation, and if they need help, you go back and help them. We didn't really keep an eye on the situation, and it turned out they needed our help, so that's the other thing I would say. So, there wasn't anything in the email, right? I don't think so. No, there was not. So, thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer, and I hope you found the video helpful.